white people been killing shit for a long time. No pun intended, right? And we talk about anything, Timothy McVeigh. We're not even talking about what was the Ted Kaczynski, stuff like that. That the masses of people. Now we do have the black people got the DC sniper. You feel me? But when we talking about a majority of people and so on and so forth, um, that is
Oh, by the way, Marte, if there's any point that you want me to stop on because you got something to say or add or anything like that, feel free to let me know.
Yeah, I'll for sure let you know. Yep.
a stereotype or archetype already of white people. So Ali, your point, I wanted to answer this question. The reason why we can't name 10 people is because no one cares about white people committing crimes and white people getting shot by white police or whatever. The news, if it bleeds, it leads. That's the thing they leave it, right? So they're always going to show you something to where it's a racial disparity so they can get clicks and views. I can name you two. Well, I can name one and I can describe the other. Tony Temple, the same thing that happened to George Floyd happened to Tony Temple. I think it was like a couple years before. No one gave a fuck. No one cared. Right? Same exact fucking situation. All right. Police was laughing and joking and everything. The other one was the white dude that was in the hotel. I think he was like exterminator or something. He was down on his knees, and the cop motherfucking blew his ass away. Like I think this was at the beginning of like when they started doing body cams. But again, because it's white men and white people, you don't have the racial play to play there.
Speaking of which, that incident he brought up, I think I seen that video is online of the white guy. He's like crawling
Yeah.
his knees, and the cop just shoots him. That got brought up like years ago around that time when there was this narrative that black people are just being hunted. And the thing is that like that kind of breaks the narrative that shows that sometimes it's not like a race issue, it's just a bad police issue in some of these cases.
Well, here's the thing I'll point out is that there was this huge disparity that they were crying about, this public outcry, right? They were saying police violence was really bad and heinous and ripping through the black community. Well, if you notice, ever since body cams came out, where's all this police violence we have? Well, how come all of a sudden now that we could see this, we're not seeing this huge police violence epidemic that the black community has said? So it's like now all of a sudden that this has been exposed, we don't see this. So is this a myth that was spread by the black community? No, it's just bad propaganda because people constantly want to have this victim ID and pass it from culture to culture within the black community. And that's all this was. I think that this is exposed.
Yeah, and when they brought up wanting like, oh well, let's have body cams, they're demanding it. I was all for it. I was like, yeah, let's have body cams. I don't care. Let's hold police accountable. Let's have what happens. But now that it's kind of showing what's really going on, yeah, now we're not seeing a lot of calls for body cams anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So it's almost
Mhm.
non-existent. And then now that we do see this, if there's any police violence, it's made to look like it's 1,000 people that's happening when really it's the one that we want to magnify and highlight amongst the thousands of positive good police interactions that we have. There are policemen that still rescue cats from trees and do certain
Mhm.
things as public service. And that's the thing though, is like if one thing happens, they're going to make this sound like it's a multiplication issue of something that's happening in every single city when it's just one offshoot, one instance that's happened. They'll take the minority and magnify it. That's all that the police cams have done is shown
Yeah, and
this.
there's a lot of people on the left that I remember there was something where they would get asked like how many black people do you think a year gets killed by police, and they thought it was like in the millions, and it not even, it's like super like low, like an unarmed black, it's like less than like not, it's like barely in the hundreds, I think, like not even like a per year.
Yeah.
I think it's less than 100, like it's not even a lot at all.
More whites get shot by police than blacks, actually, to be, if you really want to be honest. That's the stat.
Yeah, but that's how heavy the propaganda was, is that it had people believing like millions a year were being murdered. It's like not even the case.
True.
So I think when we do this thing, it's black people are being manipulated by the media, right? And this is why we think it's this thing. All white people are racist. All cops are bad. Cops save more people than they kill. You feel me? There are literally millions of police interactions, per year. And if you got millions of interactions with police officers, right? Police have to be paramedically trained, help kids from choking and all kinds of different things. But to black people, they just want to kill you and lock you up. So I think once we get past the whole the things and the stuff that happened in the past was the dogs, the water hoses, racist police, KKK members, and all that shit. But I think as we move it up and we get away from that ideology, right, things could improve, and we start having the honest conversation about how things really are with policing and shit.
You still get followed when you go to Asian stores? Fantastic.
Me, no, I don't get followed. I look like I got money, so they know better.
Oh, wait. Go ahead, Ollie.
But I disagree. If something happens to a white child,
real quick, Marte, does Fatty live in America or no?
No, he doesn't. He's definitely outside of the country. He lost a debate to me, so he owed me Uber Eats and had to go to Ilkhan Ali as pictured here and have him send me money instead because he definitely doesn't live here at all.
Wow, that's funny. So what is he even talking about, like getting followed and store? Like, why is he even commenting on this if he doesn't even live here?
He doesn't live in the United States at all. But one thing I will say is if you could just go back to, I think it's 2 minutes and 30 seconds. That's when the real conversation happens. And that's when I mean, not to highlight myself here, but to me, Fatty's got a lot of issues when he talks about American culture, but doesn't even live here. He's a huge fan of American sports, but doesn't live here, like I said. And to me, I think that whenever I see him on a panel, there's this huge distinction. I respect him as a host of debates because he's a moderator, right? Yeah. But then again, I won't respect him whenever I'm on his channel because he has to peel me off of the dead bodies of people who I not. By the way, it's like hyperbole that I'm stating this. He has to peel me off of the bodies of people I destroy on his panels whenever there's like the recent panel that I've had and I literally do debates where I should lose this, where I'm saying that whites should get reparations from blacks. There's no way that I should have just eviscerated whole panels on this. And I come here and Fatty's like, oh, hold on, Marte. No. This is him having to pull me off of the bodies of the people that I'm eviscerating. And I love being on his panels, but I'll also eviscerate him from time to time too. So
yeah, that's funny.
We're going to see what you guys think about this. Go ahead, Tina.
No, it's supposed to be Marte first.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I was distracted. Fuck you, Marte.
Yeah, I think we have a duty. Somebody could have ran and stopped the blood or held the neck or something. Nothing happened. And that's problematic. If you have people just standing by, and I'm not saying that anybody could have stopped the stabbing that happened. It happened too fast. Nobody could have jumped in. It's unrealistic. But for people to sit down and not stop, hold the neck, the carotid artery, or do anything, they were basically slow to intervention, let alone slow to aid or assist. I think that's very problematic. I totally understand the societal norms of us not helping women out because we're not getting anything in return. But when it comes to these situations, the aftermath, that's the problem that I have with nobody stepped in afterwards. After it happened, there was no after action, no effort to stop this. It was almost like everybody was tone deaf. It just numb. They didn't do anything. It's like they saw this movie 1,000 times. I've seen a woman bleed out. And there was like nothing. There was no compassion for a fellow human being that was bleeding out. That's the problem that I have. I'll just leave it at that.
How about it's so crazy, Marte. That's like a good point too. And I was tripping out because you see people are just standing there acting like nothing happened. There's even a guy, and I was like, dude, if I were in that train, I was aware that just happened. Like he had his back turned to the stabber, the guy, De Carlos. He had his back turned to him. I was like, I wouldn't be able to have my back turned to that guy, But it's I don't know. What do you like? Why do you think we've become so numb to that?
Here's the thing, though. If you look at the other passengers, they weren't white, were they? And I'm not being racist when I say that, I can't be unless I hate myself. When I say this, this is indicative of black culture. Ain't none of my business. I don't have it. It's not my family. Well, that's a problem, though, is if you don't do anything and you see a child or a woman being, taken out in front of you, you're damn near complicit. I'm glad that I wasn't on that bus or that train because I'd be in locked up right now because I would have whooped everybody's ass on this bus. So,
yeah, no, exactly. It's the same thing too. Like, even with like the neighborhoods and stuff, when the cop comes, asking around about like a murder that happened, it's like, well, they don't want to be a snitch. I ain't no snitch, and that's.
It's hilarious because black culture will say, I'm anti-snitch, meanwhile filming themselves doing said crime, which is hilarious to talk to themselves while doing said crime. Also, I'd like to not fast forward, but kind of like tell you, and ruin the movie that I love dragging Powder Dusty whenever I see him on paddles, which happens here in a little bit too.
Oh, nice. All right, we'll see Fatty's response, and then we'll see you go back and forth with Dusty.
How about you, Sarah?
Yeah, I could be agreeable with Marte as well. I think
Oh, so this is Sarah talking about your response. All right.
inevitably correct. In this very particular instance, there was nothing anybody could do to stop what already happened from happening. That is true. That is fact. Nobody could have intervened on that moment. However, the after effect was a very disturbing imagery. Nobody even shell shocked, nobody looking over, nobody concerned, nobody gasping, and instead they just sat there and kept to themselves and completely ignored the entire situation and as it was happening. And I think that is disturbing. I don't think it's a matter of should Americans step in to help foreigners. I think it's just a matter of should one neighbor stand in to help the other. In this instance, that's exactly what that was.
Okay. How about you, Tom?
All right, we could skip forward. Where do you get into it with Dusty?
Well, it's after Mr. Fantastic. By the way, I'd love to debate Tom. He's actually I think that he would actually be a formidable debate person to debate against, especially on anything political. He's also a liberal leftist. I think that he would provide more of a challenge than Destiny, believe it or not. As crazy as that sounds.
Oh wow, okay, yeah, I've kind of heard of him, but I'm not really familiar. I haven't really seen much of his debates. I saw a little bit of him here in this panel, but wow, that's pretty cool. I'll check him out.
Yeah.
Let's see. So after you said Tom speaks, right? Then Powder Dusty comes in.
Well, after because Fantastic basically says I agree with Marte too, but it's after Fantastic.
Okay, after Fantastic.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Okay, let me see. I think I see Dusty.
No matter where the America
Let's see what Fatty
first.
says.
Like other people's lives don't matter as long as USA is winning. Fuck the Ukrainians, fuck the Palestinians, fuck Fatty, fuck the Portuguese, fuck everybody. So, I think our life matters a lot, actually. I truly believe that a life is a life, no matter where the DNA lottery lands you on this planet. So, sorry that happened to that woman. She didn't deserve that. And actually, and Tom sent me a picture of it. She was actually helped. She wasn't helped immediately because people didn't know what was the relationship between her and the man, right? A lot of times people don't meddle because they don't know if those people are fighting because they know each other. We have all the context. We know that those people are strangers. We have no idea what they're going through, but a lot of times we might think this is a boyfriend and a girlfriend. This is a co-worker situation, and people mind their business because they don't know what the relationship is. And a lot of times we know the person that puts himself in the middle usually gets the worst part of the deal. So I think this is the new way, okay? No man protecting woman, no people put themselves in harm's way because somebody's in distress. People wait for the smoke to clear and then go to the rest of the situation and help. So that's what happened. And unfortunately she passed away. But there's no more white horses and all that. Actually, it still happens because that's our nature. But for the most part, this is a new society where people mind their business, and there's nothing you can tell people. You can tell them that they're wrong, because those people have a family to come home to. And if
so real quick, he's saying a lot, but man, there's just so much there. First of all, it's so sad that this woke ideology, it even extends just outside of America, because he says no matter if they won the DNA lottery, trying to say, oh, because she's white, like she won the DNA lottery. First of all, that's like sad that you think of someone thinks of everything that way, like their skin color, whether or not they're gonna have a good position in life. And then second of all, it's so wild the whole people aren't gonna get themselves involved because they don't know if it's a boyfriend or girlfriend. Like, dude, he just stabbed her this isn't. It's clear that it's not some kind of boyfriend and girlfriend situation, and even if it like were, that still doesn't mean no one should like jump in. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just wild all the things Fatty just said right there.
I agree. There's in 2025, I don't believe that there's any such thing as white privilege. I think that that's a myth. Also, the second thing I'd like to point out, which is funny every time I hear this, I think the English language is Fatty's biggest opposition. So I think that's why whenever I debate him, he's not only entertaining because I love crushing him, but also he just sounds silly. He sounds like Dexter's Laboratory every time he opens his damn mouth.
Yeah, no, I know it's not. Yeah, it's hard not to make jokes at the accent sometimes. You know what I mean? I think even in here, what is it? He said like hooligans at one point, and it was like hooligans, hooligans, and then
Yeah, I
people were
call him
laughing.
out on this, make fun of him constantly about that. So it's fun.
If your husband or your wife lost their life because they tried to meddle in something they had no business in, and now you have some kids that don't have a parent because he tried to be a superhero, you would feel some type of way. So these people had families to come home to. They did what they needed to do.
Can I
It is
put a
what it is.
hypothetical out there?
Absolutely.
What if those, what was it, 4 or 5 people sitting around her, I
Yes.
believe?
Mhm.
What if let's presume 5, okay? What if all 5 people, as soon as they saw her collapsing in that seat, stood up and went to her aid? And if that crazy man turned around and came back to say like, oh, no, you're going to let her,
Yes.
complete the process of dying. I'm trying to be mindful of my words here. And there were 5, let's see, I think 4 grown ass men and 1 woman. Do you think that man would have felt the need to shut that down? For instance, if there were 4 giant men standing there in front of that young girl, and one of them going to her aid at the very least, do you think he would have like continued the process?
I think he
Like,
wouldn't do it
against-
on the first. I think he wouldn't do it on the first place, because if you notice, it targeted the smallest person in the area, and he probably look around. Even though he's schizophrenic and those people are crazy, a lot of times when predators attack, they don't attack the biggest man in the room. They go
Right.
at the
We
easiest
call, yeah,
prey.
we call it to know
Right.
who to be
So,
crazy
Well,
with. They
he
know
was
they know
also-
the degree of crazy.
so my
But-
point
but
is
he was
that
also
if
the
all
biggest person
5,
there, though.
but if all 5 of those people stood up and said, no, we're going to help her and you're going to go away. If 5 people stood up and said that, more than likely, he probably wouldn't have tried to chime in on that. He would have just walked away.
Oh yeah, well no, he
I don't
wasn't.
think
He
that
had
you're
no-
thinking
he
that
had
in the
no-
moment, though. Normally, if you want somebody to die and the person is trying to kill somebody, normally you're thinking, okay, the person with a weapon right here, right now. If I try to stop them from doing what it is that they're trying to have go to completion, then I'm now somebody who's like in danger as well. I think in the moment, that's what most people would think, is he wants this person to die. If I try to stop them from dying, he's going to come after me too.
Yeah, but
But
the thing
there's
was in the
5
situation.
people.
Just real quick.
Sorry.
Just real quick.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Do you think if there was actually like more, like if there were like 5 men right there, do you think something would have been done or what?
Well, here's the thing, though. We're positing hypotheticals of what if and what could happen. The real problem with this is in the after action where nobody wanted to help at all. All we can do is just throw what ifs at a situation where community wise, I don't think that it's prevalent for us to help our neighbor. It really isn't, especially in this community that I'll say. And here's the thing. I've noticed that when people say, because I saw in the chat, people say, well, I don't judge people based on their skin color. Well, we have pattern recognition. We're pattern recognition machines. So if I do see something, I was in law enforcement for a very long time. So if I saw a black person with their pants sagging, I'm thinking that this guy isn't here to do some corporate business deal on the street somehow. Like I'm thinking that he's probably up to doing no good. And I'm thinking that if I see somebody with a bonnet on her head and she's screaming, I'm not thinking that her name is Lucy Stevens. She's probably Shanae Jenkins, and she's probably got a loud attitude problem with me. So these things, if we look at stereotypes, there's a bit of truth in this. So I think that on this bus, I don't think that, if we think about these people standing up, I think that, yes, there would have been like a kind of a deterrent nature in this. But at the same time, they are their own worst enemy when they say, no, we want to accuse everybody of not helping us, but you won't help anybody else, but you adopt this victim ID culture within your culture. To me, this doesn't make any sense, and you perpetuate this by your own sword in your own account.
Yeah, no, that's true. I'm gonna try to find the where you go back and forth with Dusty. So is it gonna be toward like the first like half hour, like, or is it gonna be a little bit past?
It was right after I had my opening statement.
Oh, right after your okay.
Yeah, right after that, right after I had my word, Dusty was like, I'm gonna disagree with Marte on this. And I was like, I love it when people disagree with me, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not a fascist because I implore my opponents to actually say something. I will not muzzle their speech at all. Because here's the thing, though, I'm open enough to have my mind changed by even the most looniest people. Yeah, that's not probably going to happen unless they have a better logical argument or understanding or grounding in what they're talking about. I mean,
yeah.
for sure.
Mm-hmm. All right. So it was it was after when you spoke at the 2 minute 30-second mark?
Yeah, it was after that at some point.
All right, let me see here.
Sarah
nothing happened, and that's problematic. If you have people just standing by, and I'm not saying that anybody could have stopped the stabbing that happened. It happened too fast. Nobody could have jumped in. It's unrealistic.
From happening, nobody even shell-shocked, nobody looking over and
around with a knife. You don't help her.
Yeah, when you go to Fantastic,
Okay.
just
How about you, Athena?
Okay.
Yeah, man. In this context, with that,
Okay, so
yeah,
after this,
I think
all right.
it's I think Marte probably gave the best thing. Actual intervention during the fiasco, I can halfway understand, even though I think most people, if you saw somebody in the act of getting, assaulted or shot or stabbed or whatever, at the very least, of not physically intervening, bringing to people's attention. But most importantly, like you said, the aid after the fact, I think that was the problem. And what made it so crazy was it was two women that got up and left, right? A man had to come away from another train car, I believe, or way further up. Someone followed the blood trail from where he was bleeding to figure out what had happened to her. So she literally had people that had, I'm not going to say witnessed or understood what was going on, but they saw her bleeding, and instead of doing aid, they just ran off.
Right. No, I agree with you. How about you, Dusty?
Well, I guess I'll be the only one that thinks that what Marte said is completely bitch made. It doesn't matter what nationality somebody is, and it doesn't matter if you notice Marte said they didn't get anything. You can understand men not defending women because they don't get anything in return, which is the complete bitch made part of it. You defend somebody because it's the right thing to do because you're a man, right? Not because you expect them to give you a free pizza coupon to Domino's after or something. So I think that I didn't watch the video. I intentionally didn't watch it because I don't like rage bait content. But no, I think that answer is bitch made, and that you should help people mostly just because you're a person, and that's the right thing to do. I don't think it needs to go any deeper than that.
Before we get to Mr. Fatty, Marte, you like the rebuttal, man?
Yeah, I'm going to rebuttal this. I was referring to the societal norm that we have in saying to obfuscate and go away from this societal norm. I was acknowledging that societally we have a norm to say, hey, I'm not going to help and go away from this. I was actually objecting to the societal norm. So when you say it's bitch made, it doesn't really.
And I apologize for misunderstanding what you said. I thought you said the opposite of what you apparently did.
I need you to listen next time I'm talking. Okay.
Well, okay, now it's back in place. It's bitch made.
Yeah, go ahead. Fatty, next.
Well, I love the love on the panel, boy. Go ahead, Fatty.
So I have a song to sing to y'all. Okay.
I'll
I'm a real American.
This is what the rights of one thing I'll say is, if you listen to him, I mean, hindsight's 2020. He said, I didn't watch the video at all. Why the hell are you on this panel if you haven't seen the footage and you don't know anything but hearsay? To me, I should have actually pointed this out. I thought about this, but Fatty's singing was killing my eardrums. So, of course, this is also distraction that liberal scumbags on the left use as well, too.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, if you didn't see yeah, you're absolutely right. Why is he here on the panel? And it's so weird how he called it, well, it's rage bait. It's like, no, it's actual footage of something that happened. That's getting shared online. It's not, it wasn't created to enrage people. It's something that happened. It's real life. A woman died, was murdered. And so it's wild that he just calls it, well, I don't watch rage bait. It's like, what are you talking about?
And that's the thing though. Before the podcast, I was talking so much shit to Fatty about his voice, about how it's going to make men infertile just hearing this, and I just went on the warpath hearing this, and he's like, "Oh, you want to talk shit?" And I was like, "Dexter's Laboratory." Like I literally just went on and just started roasting the shit out of him. And Ilkhan Ali, I dragged him in the past too. Dusty, I think that we have like kind of a good oppositional back and forth. Whenever I have panels with him, I'll constantly fight him. And I said, sometimes I'll even do this for no reason because you're easily triggered. Unlike me, nothing triggers me. I don't get pissed or anything like this. But it's so funny because whenever you have him, he's very ambiguous in his political leanings. I'll never say like he's a leftist. I actually don't know what side he's on, so I don't want to frame him in a bad light. But people like this are easily triggered, and they're so easy to mess with that I'll constantly just be their opposition, and it's fun.
When you right now you're talking about Fatty, right? Like you don't know the side that he's on that you said.
No, this is Dusty.
Dusty,
Fatty,
okay, yeah.
Dusty,
No.
Dusty, I don't know his political leanings or anything like that, so I don't want to mischaracterize him, but he's easily triggered, and it's fun to just punch him like a punching bag. And Ryan, Radical Coder, and Soy Pill, and there's plenty of others as well, too.
That's funny. Yeah, it's true. I've seen Dusty a few. I think he, I don't know if it's this panel, but I remember at some point he does say, like, I'm not really on, I don't know which side I'm on, really. Like, he seems to be kind of like one of these, like, centrist dudes or center guys, or you know what I mean?
Well, I dislike his ideology more. The reason why is because if you hear the terminology of lukewarm and fence sitter, those aren't good terms to be called. So it's like, because I can't identify you, I have to attack you even harder, because liberals who are staunch liberals on the left, they can be recognizable. I at least respect that. But if you can't pick a side and you want to be a fence sitter and lukewarm, I don't know if you're the person that's going to stab me in the back or not. I don't trust you even more so because you're unrecognizable wearing a fence sitter camouflage on. And this, to me, this doesn't make any sense when we're fighting one side and the next and you don't want to pick a side. Yeah, I distrust you even more by that rhetoric alone.
Saying
Expressing
black
his
people
views.
communicate.
And let
and
me
white
let me
people
finish.
hate
Let me
racially
fin-
is
let
racist.
me finish. Black people, even by other black conservatives, are
You're not
told
being
go back
done
to
yet, it's
Africa. Go back to Africa if you have a problem with it. White people aren't being told go back to England, go back to Europe. We're not telling white people that. So
We don't have the
you gotta-
victim fetish that you have.
It's not no victim stat.
It's a victim fetish.
Let me know when I
What?
can finish. When I can
Wait,
land.
wait,
When I
wait.
can. When I can
Flote,
finish. When I
you
can
think
land.
that white
So,
people?
hold on.
are the
Fatty,
victims?
hold on. So
Okay.
what is the ultimate victim? Isn't make America great again? From white people that's wearing MAGA hats to say make America great again. What does that mean? If we're
You don't
Oh,
think that there's
yeah.
black people that are
not-
MAGA?
Yeah. This part right here, when they say "Make America Great Again," they always look back to like, oh yeah, we were talking about we want to bring back slavery or something, and it's so wild, you know?
Right. It's victim ID culture. That's really what they're doing. And they're proving his whole point. So there are times when I support Dusty when he's wrecking these people because there's a
Yeah.
tier system. I'll say Radical Coders down here, but then Destiny's really beneath him. And there's like a tier level. Dusty's like up here somewhere where Fatty's like beneath them somewhere. So it's like, I'm not talking shit about anybody here, but I'm telling you, as far as people that I want to take out and who I box with in this lane, I like watching him. He's the Anna Kasparian in this situation, whereas Ilkhan Ali is the Destiny in this situation. So if you could pay attention to this discourse, look at the titles and labels I gave them, and you'll recognize the distinction right now automatically.
Yeah, no, exactly. And Dusty brought up a good point too about how there's a lot of black people in Mega as well. So what is this Ilkhan talking about?
Can I finish? If
You asked me a motherfucking question, you baby.
No, I'm acting like a baby. Now I'm a baby. How am I being a baby? Express myself. This is what I mean. So the black American is a baby now, right?
You're a baby.
Why am I a baby?
It's not a race thing.
Why am I a baby? For
He's a baby
being a
for
baby.
controlling himself and giving his opinion.
Right.
The baby is the one that is interrupting while he's eating pizza.
Right.
Right?
And that's the thing. And that's the thing about what happens in this country. Liberals and conservatives hate each other. Democrats and Republicans hate each other until it's time to hate a person of color, and then everybody comes together until they use those people of color to hate foreign people. Then black people will come together. But the problem is when black people express themselves from a cultural standpoint, they're told to go back to a different country where the black person that may be supposedly conservative, fantastic, I'm conservative, but I can address what's happening to black people at the same time without being anti-white. But a lot of black people who are prominent now do speak on the narrative that white people are pushing, and that's why they gain fame. White people, like when Marte asks how I can be racist, depending on who you're promoting. We know that white people love promoting Candace Owens. We know white people love promoting Jesse Lee Peterson, Sheriff Clark. But when you bring up people like, if we just start talking about Kaepernick for taking a knee when a white soldier told him to take a knee just to address what was happening in his country, he lost his entire career. So it's different things. When the Chiefs kicker addressed what was happening about wanting homemakers, white women to be women to be homemakers, not white women, he was promoted, he was supported. So when a black person expresses himself, he's demonized, dehumanized, and told go back to Africa. When a white man expresses himself, he's American. He's a human being.
The white guy that spoke at the school was demonized heavily. He was called a misogynist, a sexist, and everything else. He got drugged through the mud for that.
We're talking about race. We're not talking about being a misogynist or misandrist. We're talking about how you're supported differently when you have when white men disagree, they're not told to go back to a different. Can you address Marte without moving the goalpost? Can you address the fact when white men disagree, they're not telling each other to go back to a different country? Can you address that?
When have you been told that?
Can you address that? Can you address that?
I was waiting for my turn to respond, but apparently fucking Ali never
finished. I'm sorry, the baby. Oh, hold on.
Ali, when have you been? When was the last time you were told?
Well, before you went back to Dusty, what did you think about that? What were we going to say right there?
Well, the problem with this is the Kaepernick situation was brought upon him himself. When he talked about police brutality during that time, we didn't have an epidemic of police brutality. And then he said, well, I'm not going to say the Pledge of Allegiance because it's racist. Nationally, nobody had a problem with the Pledge of Allegiance. I think that when we have propaganda and we make up our own victim identity status, that's what happened in the Kaepernick situation. He wanted the attention, the same thing that Destiny wanted. We wanted attention and bring attention to a problem that was non-existent. This is the problem with the culture. We'll see something and we have a mood, right? We let our mood and our feelings dictate whatever propaganda we have. I wanted to feel like a victim this day, and that's what happened. So when we look at Cap, that's exactly what happened. There wasn't an epidemic of police brutality that happened, but he wanted to say, oh, because one situation happened, oh, there's a nationwide epidemic, and I'm taking the disrupting a whole American game, disrupting a business. This is what the NFL is, a business during the whole time and creating disruption. When you compare this to the white issue, it's night and day. This is a stupid rhetoric talking point that they were bringing up, and I was about to demolish the shit out of them. But then, of course, what Ilkan Ali does is skip Dusty's turn and go straight to me because I was about to obliterate the shit out of him, and I was going to let them have their discourse instead.
Yeah, that's everything you said is 100% true, though.
Let me cry. Let me finish crying.
When was the last time you were told to go back to Africa?
Go ahead.
I'm all the time.
You're personalized with me. I've been told.
Fatty. Well, Fatty, of course, it's obvious he's not from. I mean, yeah, he doesn't even live in America. But even if you didn't know that, you could tell. Like, you're wondering, like, hey, is he from here? Like, not from here, but does he live here, or is he in his whatever country he's from? Was it Portugal?
Yes. I'll say one thing real quick though. Ilkan Ali, he'll tell you this, and I'm just going to make an assumptive claim. I'm just going to say this, but I could have just imagined, maybe he could check me on camera later on about this. But according to their logic, weren't we supposed to be slaves during this Trump administration? Where are the handcuffs? Where are my shackles at?
Yeah.
Thing, if you hate America so much, why don't you just leave? You don't have to stay here and burn flags and destroy symbols that we have. To me, there's a difference between having freedom of speech and burning symbols, and also taking accountability from blacks committing violence and saying, no, this doesn't happen. What about the white terrorists at the same time? What they do is obfuscate. They're an obfuscation machine. And of course, I'm saying this because it's repeated ad nauseum by their own action. Ilkan Ali will deflect the whole time and say, no, whites do this, make America great again, is a racist mantra. That's what he's hinting at. Where's the racism? When we say make America great again, he's not talking about racism, but yet they'll notice how he's bringing it to race again and making this all about race, which was non-existent. Only in this conversation, we talked about a black person murdering a white person. That's it. But now he's going to be a sloganeering machine throughout this whole conversation about how it's race, and he's going to make it one-sided again.
Yeah, but notice like Dusty asked him, like, when was the last time someone told you to go back to Africa? And I'm pretty sure that's never happened in Ilkan's life, you know. But Fatty had to swoop in and be like, oh, I get told to go back to Portugal. It's like, well, yeah, well, no shit. You got this like strong accent, like, no doubt, and you're complaining about America all the time, which you don't even live in. Like, of course, you're gonna get told that. But notice, like I said, he had to swoop in and kind of like defend, you know, his ideological friend.
And that's what
exactly.
I love it when they do this, by the way, because when they had the panel versus me, it was like a me versus everybody on a panel when it came to me telling that white people should get reparations from blacks because they burn whole cities down. Whenever they get pissed and whenever they have DEI programs that robs white people or any other race of opportunity. Like, I could go on as to why 600,000 white people died so that way you can be freed of slavery. So blood has a cost on your hands, lives has a cost. So when we go into this rhetoric, I loved when Fatty and Ilkan Ali were teaming up against me because I was literally taking them down. No homo, by the way. And also their whole panel at the same time, too, embodying everybody. That's also another great debate that I love to have, too. The first person that I debated initially didn't give me any pushback, but when it came to a whole panel, I was basically beating up on Fatty, Ilkan Ali, and anybody else that came up, too. That was entertaining. But this is the rhetoric that they have, which is adjacent to liberal ideology when we do victim ID culture. Oh, woe is me. Even though nothing happened to you, you just want attention. That's all this is.
Yeah, exactly.
Go back to Portugal, Fatty.
Do you want to do my personal experience with racism? Or you want to just conflate it to when I was
when is the last time you were told? Yes, you're bringing this up like it's a big issue. We've been sitting here for an hour and a half now, 2 hours if you count backstage time. I haven't heard anybody say it once.
Right. So the fact that you're asking it in the manner you're asking it, I have been told to go back to Africa when I disagreed with somebody before, but you're asking it, and it don't matter if I tell you that. So why would it matter?
Yeah, because I think it's fucking stupid, and I think that you've got a victim fetish, like I said.
So how am I a victim? If I got two businesses, I support.
Because you've been crying about offenses that haven't happened. That's why I'm asking you. When is the last time this offense happened to you?
How do you know he has a victim fetish if he never told you he had a victim fetish, Dusty? How do you know that?
I'm a victim.
You're assuming his intent.
Yeah. So if white people say they're losing the country, are they playing victim?
When is the last time that you had
this? That's what I'm saying.
You said not to move the goalpost, so let's keep the goalpost. Bring them back here. Yes. Bring the goalpost back.
Hey,
when is the last time? Because you brought this up several times that you've been told to go back to Africa. When is the last time this happened? I'm talking.
Yeah, see, and it's good because when people like they corner them and like have them cornered. And actually ask them, name the specific example or whatever. They can't do it because they're obviously lying.
Yeah, remember when he said, are you going to denounce the murderer? Destiny kept running and wouldn't answer the damn question and then went on to not answer 3 more questions as well, too. That Ilkan Ali is doing the same thing when he's saying, well, when did this happen? He's actually moving the goalpost even more and continues to do this. It's the same tactic. It's really dirty. But what you have to do, if you notice Powder Dusty, he's really good for doing this. He's holding his feet to the fire here. And I think you have to keep literally repeating yourself because they'll keep running away from this and obfuscating.
Yeah, exactly.
I can answer that. I've been called nigga with the art.
I wasn't asking you, Fatty.
On both on some people panels, right?
Fatty, stop saving your boy. I wasn't asking you. You didn't make the complaint.
The second time I went to Flow's channel, somebody dropped the N and I'm snitching. It was E-Rock.
No, tell them. Like, I'll be quiet. Tell me how I'm a victim first. Why am I a victim?
They call me.
Can I address
you been crying the whole time.
Can you please let him answer? He's not answering.
I know.
I'm asking you. I would like to know because you brought up this
right now. So tell me how I'm a victim.
You have brought up this offense several times this debate. Now, I would like to know because I think that is a perfect example of your victim fetish because you keep bringing up this thing that I don't see happening. Maybe I'm wrong. When is the last time you personally were told to go back to Africa?
I haven't been told that in a while. So what does
Then
that got
get
to
the
do?
fuck over it, bro.
What does that got to do with the fact that I've been told that and people are being told that? What does that got to do?
You just admitted, oh, I haven't been told that in a while. It's like, oh, then there you go then.
And shut up. I tell
Yeah, then
shut
shut up. That's so great. I love it. That was great. I'm glad that Dusty held him, cornered him right there, forced him. No, you tell me. Had to admit, it hasn't happened in a while. Probably
Yeah,
never,
you're
to
not
be
a
honest.
victim. He exposed them for not being a victim. Oh, a while. And here's the thing, though. This could have actually happened in the month of February, believe it or not. Even though he says for a while, it's still an omission, which is lying, to be honest, in my book. So when people omit things, but then they want to use it for a complaint, it's literally a straw man. Let me have you attack this thing that it didn't ever happen. It's just lying ad nauseum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Your victim fetish. You asked to say how you're being a victim.
Hold
This
on.
is it. You're carrying around this wound with you that hasn't happened and you don't even know how long. Get over it.
So before I address him, can the white people that's on the panel be honest about the fact that black people are being told to go back to a different country when they disagree with somebody? Can y'all be honest about that, please?
Can you be honest about your victim
just
fetish?
like white people are called racist as soon as they disagree with a black person.
Can we not move it first?
You just said that. What was it? The dog whistle?
I didn't ask that.
Move the goalpost again.
Oh yeah, that's funny. I like Fatty's the things that he puts in sometimes. Like later on, he has the one where it's like the Sega, but it's saying the the N word, and I was like, yeah, I was laughing. But yeah, that's another thing too, because later on, I don't know if we get to it, but like they talk about how Donald Trump said all these dog whistles, or Charlie Kirk said these dog whistles, and it's like,
I remember that.
Yeah, so it's like, well, pretty much, so what you're saying is pretty much no matter what, he's racist. If he's outright racist, he's racist. If he doesn't say anything racist, well, he's still racist because the things that he's saying are dog whistles. It's like, no matter what, they want to be they want to be victims no matter what.
And I was telling them, and Tom Fuller was thinking that he was clapping back at me when I said that the moment anybody states facts or reality, all of a sudden it's a dog whistle. And they said, yeah, it's a dog whistle. Then by your metric, nobody can ever say a thing unless it's delusional then. Does that make any sense? No, it doesn't, because if we started doing this, you would accuse us of lying to you then. Okay, so when honesty offends you, all you're doing is muzzling conservatives. That's all you're doing. By the way, me and Fatty got into a massive mute button debate over this. So what he does is he'll play this and he'll say, no, I'm not muting people, while on my end it says the mute button's activated while this video plays. How is this not a mute button? I literally destroyed him in this debate while using this. And Andrew Wilson complained about this, why he left that panel with, I think it was the public offender and then this other woman named Pretty Intellectual. She's not intellectual, by the way. And I actually would argue the first word on that too. And that he left, he said, I thought we had an agreement that you wouldn't hit the mute button. And I was like, Fatty held I think it was a panel saying, if anybody has smoke for me, come on the panel. So I came on the panel and I said, you hit the mute button on people when they have prior agreements with you. And literally that's a good debate that I destroyed him on as well too. So, I mean, Fatty does a lot of double standards here, by the way. That's all I'm pointing out.
On three, fellas. 1, 2, 3, push.
You were the one talking about the dog whistle and all that crap. So yeah, people are going to say go back to America because or go back to Africa because that's the insult to you. You're going to call white people racist or that they're dog whistling. That's what it is.
Even further, won't they tell people to get out the country? They'll probably tell a black or white person to get out the country if you don't like it.
You're so speculative. Can you just admit that you're a victim and you love it?
Can somebody hold up? But I mean, any race could say this. Anybody from Mexico, anybody from the Middle Eastern countries, anybody from Asia, like anybody that doesn't look white could have essentially say the same thing as being like, well, they told me to leave and go back to my country, presuming that you're an import, right? Like, show me on the doll where that hurts you.
No, that's not the point. Hold up, Fatty. Hold up, Fatty. Last point. No, last point. Is that hypocritical and contrary to the white people that say we fight for the freedom of speech and for the right to for people to voice their opinions? Is that hypocritical when you?
But it doesn't have anything to do with anything. Like, yeah, even if you get told, "Oh, go back to Africa," it's not shutting you up or anything like that. But then they'll do it all the time. They'll be like, "Well, you're like they'll tell white people you're racist racist if you say that, which will shut up a white person because they don't want to be seen as racist. You know what I mean? If anything, telling a black person go back to Africa, it's actually going to hurt whoever tells them that, the white person, because it's going to make them appear racist. So it's not the same thing. You know what I mean? It's not the same thing as telling a black person go back to Africa.
I agree. They're weaponizing reality and turning it racist. So anything that you state that's a fact or any statistic or data point that actually holds them to a standard of accountability is now turned racist on you, because now all of a sudden I'm a victim of reality, thus making you a racist by their own rhetoric. To me, this is just victim blaming. That doesn't make any sense. And it beckons to this thing that's a psyop that I'm telling you is white guilt. They want you to, and I'm not going to go on this little mantra right now, but they want you to hate yourself as a liberal woman and then also be absorbed into their culture as a cosplaying blackface woman. Like, that doesn't really make any sense. So they're literally warping reality right now by their own propaganda and rhetoric right now. So that, to me, this just doesn't make any sense.
Telling somebody that they're a victim, stop crying, or you're a snowflake, when this is a country where you're supposed to have the freedom of speech, and people are going, soldiers are going to war for your right to say whatever you want. Is that hypocritical?
Nope, you still have the right
How is it
Those two
hypocritical?
things have to do with each other. That doesn't make any
You
sense.
still have the right to be a victim, and I have the right to call you fantastic.
Well, no,
Matt,
you
if
call
you
some
want
people
to-
that their opinions don't matter and that they should stop talking and just go back to their country
Yes.
versus them saying
Being American.
freedom of
Oh,
speech.
God,
Obviously,
Tom, you're
hypocritical.
killing
The
me.
problem is that the
Can
problem
we
is
race
that
trade, Tom?
the problem is that just
I'm on
by
my
well,
team.
hold on. The problem is that just by like assuming that anybody who isn't white, that they do say go back to your country X, Y, and Z, and this
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the thing. We'll tell you to go back. Like, the black culture will tell you to go back to your own country. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, nobody should be a victim. But the moment anybody white says you should go back to your own country, this could be anybody from Mexico, and Sarah's right, or anybody from Portugal or anything like that. Now all of a sudden they're racist. To me, it's like I said, it just calls to a double standard from which they don't even hold themselves to, which is a lack of accountability.
Yeah, and by the way, they use racism to like shut people up all the time. Even people, you know, like you said, like if you're a black person and you're saying, well, this isn't a racist country or whatever like that, well, then you get called an Uncle Tom and stuff, which is racist as well. So they do the same thing too.
Take it off black, but take it off black, but take it
Well,
off
then
black
I'm
people.
tired of
Take it off
getting
black people.
called a racist every time I turn a black
Nobody
man
called you a
down.
racist. Nobody called you a
People say
racist,
all
Sarah.
the time.
It's your victim narrative, Sarah.
Hold on, we can all be mad at somebody getting mad at us.
Victim narrative, Sarah.
I turned down and this has happened to me before, Ali. I turned down a black man and I say, no, I don't want to give you my number, but thanks though. Oh, you don't like black guys? Like, no, I just
Yeah,
think
that
you're
was
ugly.
racist, Sarah.
Oh.
That was
Yes,
racist.
yes,
But
we're not
hold
going to
on,
deny
hold
that
on,
that happens, though.
Sarah, Sarah, me and Tom
What
are not. Me and Tom
Oh
are
my
not
God.
saying that it doesn't happen.
That's just
You
because
let- that's-
I'm
let me
white,
finish.
Ali.
Let me-
That's
let
just
me-
because
no, let
I'm
me
white.
finish-
When
let
I
me
turned a black man
Can I
down,
finish?
that
Nope.
automatically makes
it
me
was
racist,
fantastic.
right?
And nobody,
Like,
and,
so
and
you're-
We're not
and
denying that.
And we're not
told you to
denying
go
it
back
happens.
to your country.
We're not-
Like, so what? So what?
let-
Guess
let her
what?
finish,
The
Yeah.
Let
guy
her finish.
called me a racist, and I said, "Okay, have a nice day," and I walked
No, but
away. Did
Sarah,
I
that's
cry
fine.
and die about it?
Sarah,
No,
we
I
acknowledge
laughed,
Oh
and I
my
thought, wow,
goodness.
No,
I
no,
just
Oh
find it
my
recall.
goodness.
Sarah, that's the point. We acknowledge that, right? Ali, I have
Yeah, Sarah, good point by Sarah. But yeah, like what she's trying to say is that like, yeah, like there's racist comments all the time, but we don't sit here and victimize ourselves and portray ourselves as victims of time over it. You know, like people say mean shit all the time, not even just racism, just with anything. You know, that's just the world, how the world is.
Yeah, it's a good point she points out. And also previously they mentioned, does anybody follow you in the store anymore because you're black? I mean, no, I haven't experienced any of this in my adulthood or life or anything like this. But you could say that even if you go to an Asian market and somebody glanced at you, oh my God, they were doing this. So it's just victim blaming, victim ID. And that's all we want in this society. And to me, it's like there are really no benefits for this. It's like stolen valor from people who are real victims. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
smoking gun. This doesn't have to go too far. How many times have you heard people say to Elon Musk, go back to Africa? They don't. It's very rare.
Who's Elon Musk?
Elon Musk.
African American.
I was thinking the same thing too. I was like, Elon Musk. That's funny.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
It was, it was
English
say that
is
again.
opposition, like I was saying.
Yeah.
the French version. Omelette de fromage, right?
Making fun of his accent is racist, guys. Okay, you guys can't do that. All right, that's
I'm making
racist.
fun of his comprehension level. So go ahead.
Uncle Tom has deemed that a dog whistle.
Yes,
when
that
Ellen
is it.
Musk,
It's a dog
when
whistle.
Ellen DeGeneres
Musk.
goes ahead and he says something like Elon Musk is always complaining all the time, every time. It's very rare that people say go back to Africa, even though he's actually African, right? He is technically African. If you don't like it, go back to Africa.
Actually, well, first of all, Elon Musk is not complaining about our country. A lot of times these people get called out because they're sitting here bitching and complaining about our country. But even so, Elon Musk actually does get deported. Like, hey, go back to your, get out of here then. Like from leftists who don't like Elon Musk. So he actually does get that. But it's funny, it's from lefties though.
I agree.
This is regular, and this happens, and he doesn't get it as much as a black person because he is white, right?
Well,
And he's fine. And Sarah, he's
Or
fine.
maybe he just doesn't victim about it as long.
He's the biggest crybaby on YouTube.
well, do you identify as African American or do you identify as a Black American? No. I mean any Black person on the panel, I guess.
I'm a first generation European. I'm a Afro-European.
Ali, do you identify
never
as
heard
an
that, right?
African American?
I
Foreigner.
identify as a Black American when white people are referring to Black people, but we know we're African Americans, right? Not nation-wise, but Black isn't really a race as well too. When you get down to what race is, that's a whole
Don't
nother
do it,
conversation.
Ali. Don't do it.
I ain't gonna go that. I ain't gonna go into race stuff, right? But I
Do it,
identify.
Ollie.
I identify as both. I identify as an African American, and I identify as Black.
Who's sizzling?
Same way
That
as.
noise.
Are you
same
I,
way-
I think he's a white
same
person.
Same
Yes.
way, Sarah, white people identify as American. They identify as white. They identify as Italian. They identify as French. They identify with everything.
Identify as a
So,
bitch.
it's funny that when we speak about this, again, there's pushback. See, there's pushback to when we're referring about race or African American, but white people refer to themselves in a whole different ways outside of just
Bro,
being
you're
a-
such a victim.
how's that a victim talk?
How is that the victim?
I don't know. I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you. I don't know what else to do for
It
you.
sounds like the cliche white response to when Black people are speaking. That's what it
There you
sounds
go. I
Okay,
don't know how you don't see the victimhood.
and it's a specific white person, not like
Ali,
Tom Foolery. You
no,
can tell
Ali,
the difference.
ask
Just
him.
like
No,
that's
Ali,
like
no,
hold up, fatty.
Not
That's
necessarily.
like the Black person that you'll go, baby, you crying, and the Black person you go, man, fatty, you're not like the rest of them. I like this
he
one.
didn't do nothing.
Obviously,
The
or
black man that says the rhetoric that certain white people like, they like those Black people, but the Black people they don't like, they want them to go back to Africa. You got to be honest about that.
Which ones do we like?
Should Americans?
agree with you.
Last question to the true Americans on the panel. Should a white person ever tell a Black person to go
Was
back?
that
to
a dog
Africa?
whistle?
Should
That
a
was
white
a,
person?
that was a dog whistle against me.
Should a white person ever tell a Black person to go back to Africa? if
Go
he's an
back
American?
to Africa and change your fucking tampon, you crybaby ass little bitch.
He's triggered.
Crazy.
He's triggered.
What if he's not from
That's
Africa?
extremist rhetoric.
I don't give a fuck where he's from. He's crying like a bitch. Change your tampon any continent you want to.
So, but
Damn.
you see, but this is what we're talking about, right? Flow State being performative about a very serious issue, and now I'm offended. I'm going to go on Twitter and do a mean tweet about it, and nothing will happen, right? So once again, I think we got to the conclusion that Flow State is not the honest actor.
But white
Petty
people,
Red.
white, hey, Patty, white people who are literally dominating the country. We're losing everything. We're losing everything. Like,
Yeah, they bring that up too about how white people will talk about the white replacement theory and stuff like that. But there is an active campaign against white people, though. Like there is an active anti-white rhetoric that is permeating our culture right now. So they actually have actual evidence of there's a lot of anti-white racism going on. But people like Ilkan right here, they always want to make it about no, actually it's the black people that are suffering the most. And so that's the difference there.
I agree. So if you look statistically, I mean, anybody can go at home and look on Google. In 70 years, white people will become the overwhelming minority. And even globally, they are the minority. I've also looked this up as well, too. So the replacements happening right now is we're bringing in illegal immigrants
one of the big problems that's becoming pronounced right now is people are coming in and warping our culture. They're changing our belief systems and changing our traditions by bringing in the traditions of their country, their homelands. So when we have this declining birth rate, guess what's replacing them? Not only are we saying that they can replace our birth rate, but they're doing this by replacing our cultures, our traditions, and also our belief systems. They're coming in like the Somali pirate and voting differently, changing our city structures and everything else. So it's like literally the America that we see may be a different America that our grandparents have culturally differently. So I mean, I don't know what's America now anymore because 40 years down the line, it may be completely different than the culture we have right now because of this.
Yeah, no, exactly. 100%.
Ollie wasn't nothing.
How
about those
You know what? You know what
victims
you're saying?
I'll give it to
When
you.
people are asking for justice, when people are asking for justice, they're victims.
You know, hey,
I mean, look, you guys haven't asked a lot of questions about like why they come to these conclusions or what the reasoning is or anything. But every time even we give it, we talk about like the intent. It's immediately like, oh, well, I'm white and I get this, or I have these issues. But you're not actually like engaging with the points that are being made. You're just doing a bunch of whataboutisms or find some way to like pivot to a different topic.
The guy said, "I got that white bitch. I got that white bitch twice." There's intent there. That's also super racist. Like, how's that not race?
Well, no, remember, Marcel, he can't be racist. Marcel, he can't be racist. He's black, remember?
No.
Ali was making a point. Hold on, wait.
It's not true, but you know, that's what they say.
And you pivoted to something totally different.
That was a great point, Marte. I would love to see you debate this tomfoolery because he's like the stereotypical lefty dude that we always see, the kind of soyish, very soft. But yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything to add?
Well, that's the thing, though. They're saying that, no, it wasn't a racist thing just because it was a black person, but he left saying, I got this white bitch.
Yeah.
I got that white bitch. And that's the thing, though, is not only this, because they're saying that, no, it's not a racist thing. Well, who are the other people on board that did nothing? They did shit. They didn't help out. They didn't recover anybody's health at all because we can hold the carotid artery and stop the blood pouring out or anything. And then Fatty says, no, tomfoolery sent me a screenshot of somebody helping out. Well, hold on. Remember SpongeBob when they say 4 hours later? That's the response time we got. Like, this is stupid to say, no, he helped out. Yeah, after she was passed away. Like, that doesn't make any sense because we had no help. There was no aid. So to me, I think that this stop snitch culture makes no sense. When you're recording yourself doing crimes all the time as a community, like I was saying before, you're a walking contradiction, black community. I'm saying this right now. This makes no sense. So you get pissed when I hold you to account for anything that you do. But when I do this, I'm an Uncle Tom and I hate myself and I hate my mom. But any white people does this. Who can correct black people if you can't? This makes no sense. Therefore, by your logic, nobody can correct the black community by any wrongdoing that they do. That's why this is perpetuated in the black community, because they're uncorrectable. This makes no sense by their own account.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well said. It's like, yeah, like when if anyone, even other black people, try to call out and they get excluded, like, well, you're an Uncle Tom, you're not a real black person, then it just continues the cycle. And yeah, no, absolutely. We got to call it out, you know, and I think now's the time to do it, especially when there's less fears of just being called, like, you know, before they could just brush us off by just calling us racist and being done with it. But I don't think it's going to work anymore. You know, I think people are just kind of getting sick and tired of it.
And I would love to debate tomfoolery. I mean, I'm looking for anything. Here's what I do, though. I look at people's rhetoric and things that they say. If there's a faulty argument that I heavily disagree with, I will message that person directly, or I'll post something on Twitter and directly tag their name in this. You've seen me do this. I went after Roma's Army recently. I went after other people, and I literally make content saying their name, tagging them. I don't know how direct I can be because I'm not a passive aggressive person. That's not what I do. When I go to war in combat, I literally write my name on a sword and head towards them in battle. This is what I do on social media, and I do this overwhelmingly. I've did this with Destiny and with tomfoolery. I'm saying this right now. Hopefully he's hearing this. If he's had any pushback or anything else, I implore this. So, I mean, he would be a pretty good person to debate. Typical leftist, left-leaning logic there.
Well, hell yeah. Well, if you do debate Tom Fuller, I'm going to be right here to review it, man. We're going to end this off right here. So for clipping purposes, don't go anywhere yet, but just got to say, what did you guys think about this? Leave a comment in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and also manage to hit that like button. Also subscribe to Marte as well. Marte, where can they find you?
You can find me on X at Mighty Marte, and you can find me on Instagram at _the Mighty Mouse. And also my illustrious YouTube channel, which I want to get at least to 1,000. I don't know what it takes to get monetized on YouTube. What is it? Not 700s that I'm at. Probably, what is it, 1,000 or something like that?
Yeah.
Maybe you would know more than me about this, right?
Yeah, it's 1,000. It's 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours.
Yeah, I think that this is very achievable. I appreciate it. Not to mention, I'm not trying to poach all your followers, by the way. Ryan does,
man.
By the way. But here's the thing, though. I will gladly support his channel and send super chats as well, too. I often go check out his channel. Cool Vic's an awesome person. He's also very based. This is why I wanted to collaborate on a co-host with him on previous debates, mind you, because, I mean, obviously you've liked some of the pretty based rhetoric that I've had that pisses a lot of people off. Obviously, my DMs are full of hate and vitriol, but this is only to stomp out the lack of logic and lack of I mean, there's a lot of faulty logic they have on their side, and I implore seeing them in the battle arena at any debate, and I'm constantly in the trenches. And thank you for all your support, by the way, too.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. So yeah, go check out Marte. And if you want to see actually more debates on my channel too, I have a whole playlist on the screen, and you can also see all these debates and actually more that I haven't covered on his debate, obviously, as well.